Hello and welcome to Little Imps, hosted by the wisest old imp of them all. It's me, Mark Wilkinson. Improvisation is used by jazz musicians to break up an otherwise dull and lifeless routine. Likewise, our panellists are here to break up the dull, meaningless routines of their lives. The main difference between talented musicians and our teams is that the former refine their skills over years of practice. The latter watched an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway over a gin breakfast this morning. Improvisation also relies heavily on impulsive comments and off-the-cuff witticisms. The phrase off the cuff has its origins in public speakers who would perform based only on notes jotted on their shirt sleeves. Of course, that was back in the days when acting had a dress code and they wouldn't let riffraff like me near a microphone. Let's meet the teams. On Dan Luxton's team tonight, Cora Kirby.
Hi.
And opposite them, Brendan Way and his guest, Claire Holman-Hobbs.
Hello.
We'll start with a round called A Word Paints 1,000 Pictures, where we turn to our erstwhile team captains, Brendan and Dan, and ask them just why their team should be crowned today's winners. However, so they aren't left completely adrift, Claire and Cora will throw them a metaphorical rope, a one-word prompt which will summarise their argument, which Dan and Brendan must expand into a speech. Will it become a lifeline or a noose? That all depends on our captains and their much-valued ability to bullshit. Claire, we'll start with you. In one word,
God.
Why should you and Brendan win today?
Socks.
Socks?
Yep.
It's a little known fact that Claire and I are retailers and manufacturers of socks, and we've got bags full of the stuff. I mean, we can't give them away. In fact, we will be giving them away if in fact you give us the points, because we have a lot of socks. Please take the socks.
I do need socks.
We have them instead of furniture. A bag of socks is better than a beanbag.
It is.
No substitute for an oven, though. You can't cook. You can set them alight. You can make a little fire.
You can make a fire.
You can't eat the socks.
Okay, I think that's enough. Cora, can I have your one-word summary of why you and Dan should win today?
Onomatopoeia.
Well, as you just heard there, onomatopoeia perfectly sums up why we should win today. If you let us win, you will be hearing many onomatopoeic words from us, such as boom, because we will set off fireworks in celebration and they will crash into Brendan's house and burn it to the ground with the crackle and hiss and fizz that the flames will make as his bed burns merrily using
Snap, crackle, pop.
Snap, crackle and pop. Yes, they will burn as Rice Krispies burn when you pour acidic milk upon them. That's basically it. We'll set off fireworks.
Okay.
If we win.
I'm afraid I can't condone arson. I'm always in need of new sort. The points are going to Brendan and Claire.
Yeah.
Well, that's our winners decided. Not really. We've still got a show to do. That round has as much consistency and honesty as a Fleet Street editor. We'll crack on with a round called Period Piece. I'll be asking each team in turn to act out a mundane, ordinary scene, during which they will transport us to the far-flung corners of human history, as I call out different periods in which the scene is set. When I change the setting, your actions must change accordingly. Stay focused. Who knows what could happen if you end up in the 21st century thinking it's the 50s? You might end up hosting Strictly Come Dancing. Brendan and Claire, we'll start with you.
Let's do this.
Claire, you are attempting to buy something illegal under the counter from shopkeeper Brendan. We'll begin in the present day. Go.
Hey.
Alright.
So have you got the,
Maybe.
Yeah?
I might have it, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
You got the money?
Maybe.
Druids!
What?
Druids. Sorry, that should have been not druids. Druids! Surely you've heard of Druids. Stonehenge, wandering around in long robes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
I have the vessel you seek, young maiden.
Excellent.
Do you have what I seek in return?
I do.
Show it to me.
How?
Just get it out of your pockets, young maiden.
Ancient Sparta.
This is Sparta!
That is a good reward. I can certainly give you your device for Sparta.
Here is thy money?
No, Sparta is what I seek for your thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if you hand me over the keys to Sparta, I will give you what you desire.
Alright.
The Cold War.
Thank you, comrade.
What accent is that?
Russian.
Russian?
We are in Russia.
You got some vodka?
Yes, that is the thing you were seeking. Here is your vodka.
I'm seeking the vodka.
I don't know what accent that was. You seem to change.
I'm Russian.
Okay, doke.
Comparison meerkat.
What meerkat? Is that what you are giving me for this vodka?
Yes.
Why would I want a meerkat?
Because they are cuddly.
Alright, you convinced me. Woozy woozy woo.
And stop, please.
What even was that?
So the illegal thing that she was buying on the counter was vodka.
And
Oh,
in
that's
turn,
nice.
she gave you a meerkat.
Yep.
After giving me Sparta,
Yeah.
Russia's famous for its prohibition.
I didn't know what druids were.
No, I
very
didn't know what was going on.
It's all sacrificial stuff,
Okay.
mostly to do with virgins.
I thought they were tree spirits.
Right. They probably.
But I
believe in
think
that.
there's something else.
Dryads.
Dryads, thank you. Very
That's
different.
it. Right,
Oh,
Dan
wow.
and Cora,
Mm-hmm.
you're up next,
Yeah.
and you two are trying to negotiate your divorce.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's very simple. All we've got to do is just decide who gets what. Now, do you want the child or shall I have him?
I don't know.
I don't want him, and I'm pretty sure you don't want him either.
I'll just keep the books.
No, I want the books.
But they're my
You can't-
library.
You can't just dump me with useless things like the kid and the dog. Don't like either of them.
I don't
the
like dogs.
Industrial Revolution.
I won't let you have the books because they've got my plans for the new steam engine in them. The child doesn't have the plans for the steam engine in him. He's a useless
I already
whelp.
built the steam engine with
He
the
wants to be an
plans.
actor when he grows up. He doesn't want to be an engineer building bridges like his father before him. And I won't have that. I will cast him out. Even if you don't want him, I will cast him into the filthy
I'm running away with
waters
the books.
of the Thames.
I'm going to get on the train and run away.
No, return with my manuscripts and my blueprints.
Vikings!
The parchment with the plans for my machines of war on them. It will not be yours, woman.
I'm going to go bake some bread.
You do that. It's all you're ever good for. What did you want the books for anyway? You can't read.
But they have pretty pictures.
The end of time.
What's the point? Why would you want those? There's nothing... The universe doesn't exist anymore. We are just atoms floating in the inky blackness. What could you possibly want with blueprints for a steam engine? It's entirely pointless. I don't know
But
why
I
we're
can't
bothering.
see
I don't-
anything anymore.
I know, I know.
But I want to have something to touch, and I can't touch a child. I'll touch the books instead.
All right. If that's truly what you want, if that's all the purpose you can find, just poking a bit of paper, fine. I'll just go and end it all. Why did we even bother having a child? We're the last humans left alive in the universe. What kind of future is that to bring up a child in?
There's a sheep.
A sheep! A sheep! I care not for sheep. I will blow it up with my mega death ray. Ah! Pew! Ah! End of sheep. End of time. End of life. End of round.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're so grumpy.
In across all time.
There's some you have issues.
Yeah.
There's some suppressed
Dan
rage.
just
I'm
doesn't
going
change
to
from
hug him to
inside the
make him
booth to
feel
out
better.
of the booth.
Right, I have to try and pick a winner out of this little lot.
For the Russian accents, I think we should win.
Right,
We had
Russian-
onomatopoeias.
Well, but Russian accents versus...
Ranting.
yes. I'm going for Brendan. I'm going for Russian accent.
Yes!
I'm sorry.
Should we scrap the divorce then?
Yeah.
All right.
You're staying together.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Our next game is for Claire and Cora and is called On the Other Hand. This is a game that tests our guests' ability to childishly squabble, a key quality in any time period. In this game, Claire and Cora are going to play guests at a certain event and hold an ordinary conversation. The twist is that everything Cora says is as positive as possible, while everything Claire says is as negative as possible. You are two guests at the funeral of a wealthy relative. Take it away.
Oh, I can't wait to use all of the nice things she's left behind and build a wonderful new home for my family and my 15 cats.
I'm glad she's gone, the bitch.
Why? She was so friendly all the time and always very bubbly and open, and she loved pouring tea on her neighbors.
Oh, all the time, all happy and so lovely and amazing. No, stop. Stop being happy all the time. For God's sake, it gets so old.
I think you need a cup of tea. If she was still around, she would totally make you a cup of tea.
I don't want tea. Tea's hot. I burn my mouth on tea. I'm gonna drink it. It's too hot. I leave it. It gets too cold. I can't win with tea.
That's what you add the milk for. That's what British people add the milk for, because they have dainty mouths, and you know that then everything gets much better.
I don't want milk. I don't want milk in my tea. That's weird. You do mixing liquids. I don't understand.
We'll have to teach you. We'll find you a class that will teach you why you put milk in tea.
I don't want to be taught anything.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should find a new hobby. If we can't teach you about tea, maybe we should get you into sailing.
Why would I want to go sailing? Why would I want to do that? I don't want to go anywhere.
Because our great-grandmother left us a beautiful boat that you should totally use.
I'd rather sell it for money, and then I can spend the money on alcohol and get drunk.
Well, maybe we can have a nice party with the alcohol and invite all of our relatives who are still alive and make them all happy.
I don't like our relatives.
Why are we speaking then? We'll have to go and maybe we'll take this to a different place and take all the money she's left us and go to Hawaii. That's a happy place.
I don't want to go to Hawaii.
But why not?
Because it's sunny there and I hate the sun. Sun makes my skin burn and that hurts and I don't want to have burnt skin.
Well, maybe we should go to Iceland then, because there's sun there, but it's not as hot and it won't burn you.
No, it's too cold.
It's not cold. They have hot geysers and it's like a jacuzzi in the wild.
I don't like jacuzzis. I don't know where I stand. Is it bubbly? Is it not bubbly? Is it I
think it's very bubbly.
I don't want to go in a jacuzzi.
Oh, well, we'll have to find you a still geyser then, or we could go to the Dead Sea and you can float on top of the water.
Why would I want to go to the Dead Sea? It's called the Dead Sea. Do people die in the Dead Sea?
No. Well, maybe we'll go to the Mediterranean, and then we can put the ashes of our relative into the Mediterranean Sea because it's pretty and blue.
Don't like the colour blue.
Right. Okay, I'm afraid because you basically argued Cora into submission,
I tried.
the points have to go to you.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Dan, come on, you've got to rescue this. This is
Right.
Right.
I'm useless.
It's just we're better than you.
We'll move seamlessly into the realms of complete insanity with a round called the Agony Booth. This game sees the teams imitate the agony aunt columns found in lifestyle magazines such as Hello, OK, or the Financial Times. One team creates a letter detailing unusual problem. The other team crafts a reply with a suggestion as the solution. However, both problem and solution must be crafted by team members speaking in alternate sentences. Brendan and Claire, we will start with you to provide a problem, which Dan and Cora will then solve.
Dear Agony Aunt,
I have a problem,
I occasionally sing.
especially whilst writing letters.
It's not a problem that causes a lot of embarrassment, unless I'm writing letters whilst in public.
Which I currently am,
People are giving me weird looks in the doctor's office.
because that's where I write my letters.
I can't do it at home. I must be in full view of everyone else.
I don't know quite what to do about my problem.
Please help,
Lots of love.
Sally. Bum bum.
Dear Sally,
I'm not quite sure I've ever heard a problem like this one before.
I mean, I have heard some shit in my time, but this really takes the cake.
It takes the cake all the way to the fact that I'm going to say to you, you are a little bit monotone for the fact that you are singing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some critical advice on your singing before I provide you with the solution to your problem.
Maybe you would consider this not to be an issue of singing so much as choral speaking.
Thus, I declare that you have a problem with choral speaking, not with singing. You must be precise in these matters.
So, as we have addressed that you have a problem with choral singing, I believe that the only answer for that is to write the letters while you are in a position where you cannot open your mouth. So maybe in a place like the shower or whilst eating.
Or simply stick some sellotape on your mouth.
This might be a little bit painful at first, but I guarantee over time you will get used to it.
You'll have to if you want to regain your place in society again.
All the best.
Auntie Claudia.
Very good.
Don't know why my voice went really husky. Yeah, at that point I was talking like this.
Okay, now it is Dan and Cora's turn to come up with a problem.
Dear Auntie Mabel,
I have recently started tripping a lot more than I used to.
Walking down towards the newsagent, I caught my foot in a crack in time and space.
I wasn't sure what to do with that information, as I had never tripped into something like that before.
I found myself being held prisoner by a tribe of marauding Vikings.
They were poking me with objects I had never even seen before.
And it very nearly sent my heart into a flibberty-gibbet.
I am also quite sure that I may have dislocated several fingers.
And worst of all, I missed countdown.
Therefore, I'd like to ask what I can do about this traumatic experience.
And also, if it must happen to me again, how do I direct myself so that I get to meet that nice Mr. Byron?
I'm not quite sure how I can get there again, but I will find a way, if possible.
All the best, Ethel. Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Dear Ethel,
I was pleased to receive your letter.
I must reassure you the countdown is nothing special.
You might want to watch Deal or No Deal instead.
If you get back, which you will with our help, my help.
Are you sure you don't want to stay with the Vikings? Sometimes they can be quite pleasant.
They have a lot of fat, they are very lovely to hug.
And they have fantastic beards.
And beer.
And hats.
And meat.
And ships.
They have a lot of ships. I would recommend you stay with the Vikings. They don't have countdown or Deal or No Deal.
Which would get rid of your issue with what to watch on television.
There's also a lot less stuff to trip over in Viking times.
And a lot less cracks in time and space.
Because they've burnt them all to the ground.
With their big sticks of fire.
They didn't invent fire, but they have.
They like to think they invented fire. And fire keeps you warm. Yours sincerely,
Mabel.
I don't even know what that was.
There's a lot of short sentences, or it was a lot of commas.
I'm afraid that this is going to Dan and Cora purely because suggesting that Deal or No Deal compares in any way to Countdown is
I have no idea.
ridiculous.
No idea what either of those things are, which is why I was so confused as to what that was. I was,
It's a
Television
numbers
quiz
game.
shows.
This is where being British would be of advantage.
Right. We're done, almost. We'll end with a round that dives into the world of children's entertainment called Even Bluer Peter. This is, of course, based on the popular children's television programme, where Peter's blue, bloodless and oxygen-starved body was discovered with a needle in his arm. No? Well, they may have revamped the programme since my childhood. But anyway. In this round, the teams will take it in turn on their most child-friendly personalities and present an expose of a subject which children simply won't understand. Dan and Cora, you'll go first to explain between you an adult concept using language you'd use to speak to a child. First topic, terrorism.
Hello children, welcome to the show. Today, we've got a very special message to give to you.
And don't you want to know exactly what it is?
I know I do.
We will tell you.
I'm so excited, I could explode. And that's ironic, because...
Today's topic is terrorism.
And terrorists are people that like to make things explode in pretty little sheets of flame.
In the most unexpected of places.
But these aren't the gentle flames that caress you when you're dancing around a campfire singing Gingangooli. No, these are bad flames.
They might hurt you if you get too close.
They might hurt people that you love if they get too close. And they will especially hurt the people that are at the centre of the explosion, because at the centre of those lovely little sheets of flames is usually an exploding man.
Which is what we're here to talk about today. So, in terrorism, often there will be explosions, as we've mentioned. However, this also means you need to be careful and also beware of people who look suspicious. Now, do you know what suspicious means?
There are some people that will tell you that suspicious means having a skin colour that is not your own. These people may be wrong in that. Suspicious means if they're carrying a suspicious package. Now, a suspicious package is not those packages that your mummy keeps in the drawer that you're not allowed to look at. These are big packages with wires coming out of them.
Don't mistake the postman for a terrorist because postmen bring presents, and don't we all love presents?
I know I do.
Me too.
We've had a letter in from Jim, aged 6, and he says that he really loves presents.
So, on the subject of terrorism, these are people who are suspicious, but they are not the postman. Now, what have we learned today?
We've learnt that some people say you should avoid people who don't look like you. And they may have a point, because they usually come from a different country. And people who come from a different country can be quite funny. Not funny, ha-ha. Funny, I'm frightened.
That's not true. Not everybody from a different country is funny.
I was just joshing you, Cora. You're my American cousin.
Yay!
Good night, children.
Goodbye. See you next time.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
I don't know how we're going to top that.
Well, here's your chance.
Okay.
Here now is Brendan and Claire talking about police brutality.
Hello, children.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about what happens when PC Plod has to be a little hands-on.
Sometimes policemen can get really angry, just like we all can.
But that's because the people they're talking to have been naughty. They've been stealing too many cookies or money from the bank.
And you know it's not nice to be naughty.
You shouldn't steal, children.
No.
Because if you do, PC Plod will come and be very mean.
And he might even make you cry.
Yes, because you know we say keep your hands to yourself. Well, in this instance, the policeman, Mr. Plod, is able to use his hands.
But not in a weird way.
He's just going to hit you a bit. Because you've been naughty, you deserve it. You deserve it because stealing is wrong and PC Plod goes after people who are wrong. PC Plod is a good person.
Despite all the hitting.
But it's justified hitting.
Because you've been a very, very, very bad person.
Don't be a bad person, children.
Okay. There you go. Another one, I think. I enjoyed that so much. We'll do that one again. I think this time I would like you, Dan, and you, Cora, to talk about depression.
Good afternoon, children. You know, sometimes you can feel a bit sad.
And you know, sometimes when you see your mommy sitting in front of the television with a glass of wine, she may be a little bit sad too. But there are things that we can do to help these people.
Do you know what one of the things you shouldn't do to these people is? Ignore them or treat them like a freaky baby.
Because these freaky babies may or may not actually have a condition that is called depression.
Things you shouldn't do to people with depression. Number 1, tell them things will look better in the morning, because these people might not want to live to see the morning.
Sometimes when you're really sad in the evening, don't you think that you'll just sleep and in the morning you'll wake up and feel better? These people don't have that. How sad is that? So we have to help them.
Number 2, think it's alright, because someday soon it'll be their turn to feel happy and my turn to feel a bit sad.
You have to get them to that point first. It is important that you don't just leave them and think they'll get happy on their own. Make sure you go to them and give them a good hug.
Number 3, eat some chocolate ice cream, because that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about.
However, if you want to help the person who is suffering from depression, you may want to offer them a scoop of ice cream too.
Depression. It's like being a bit sad because you missed Arthur, but more so. Good night, children.
See you soon.
Excellent. Right. Okay. One more for this team.
Okay, let's
Brendan,
do it.
Claire,
Yeah.
I would like you to talk about promiscuity.
Hello, children.
Hello.
You'll notice that my co-presenter is a little different from last week's because I fancy a bit of a change.
Yeah. Have you noticed the clothes I'm wearing?
Wow, some people change clothes like they change people, and that's called promiscuity.
It is. And sometimes that is viewed as not very good.
It's not very good. Mummy should stay with Daddy and not go off with the maid.
With the maid?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What kind of family did you
Yeah.
grow up in?
Yes, because keeping families together stops depression.
Don't be promiscuous, you'll just make the people not in the couple sad. Like Mummy was sad after Daddy ran off with the maid. Promiscuous is a very difficult word to spell, so you might want to use the shorter word, slut.
Nobody likes a slut.
Nobody likes people who are being promiscuous.
So, don't be slutty.
Don't be promiscuous. Don't be the maid. Everyone needs to live happily ever after. And they won't live happily ever after if you're promiscuous or a maid or a slutty maid. Goodbye, children.
Goodbye.
Well, you sexist people.
Absolutely.
Why is
Racist
promiscuous
people.
have to be a thing that means you're a woman and you're slutty? You can
He
be a
said
promiscuous man.
You started it.
But the thing, first the mom
men
ran
are
off with the
studs.
maid, then the man went off with the maid. That's not a very good premise for a family.
It's a good premise for EastEnders.
It is.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe we
It's a
should.
soap opera.
Yeah.
I will make sure not to catch up on that. I will watch Arthur instead.
Right. I've got to try and mark that. I've got to try and... pick a
Oh, the
winner.
word play. Mark has to mark.
Hey.
All very good.
Points for everyone!
Points
Points for
around,
all.
yeah. I'm afraid I'm giving the points to Dan and to Cora.
But we talked about sluts.
You did talk about sluts, but I agree with Cora's assessment, frankly.
Yeah.
It was a very one-sided
No,
argument
I understand.
of promiscuity.
Rules
Which
are
means knowledge of a job well done goes to Dan and Cora, this week's winners.
Oh.
Whereas I'm afraid for Brendan and Claire, it's the taking part that counts. It only remains for me to thank Brendan, Dan, Claire and Cora for turning up, and to thank you, the listeners, for not turning us down. I've been, and still am, Mark Wilkinson. If anyone would like to swap, please write in. This has been Little Imps. Goodbye!
Goodbye!
Bye, children.
You've been listening to Little Imps, hosted by Mark Wilkinson and starring Brendan Way and Dan Luxton, with Claire Holman-Hobbs and Cora Kirby. Little Imps was written and devised by Dan Luxton with additional material from the rest of the cast and was recorded at the University of Winchester for Talking Tosh Productions.
See you next time.
Well, you won't, because you're not a guest next time.
And they won't see me anyway.
Yeah.